Have you ever wondered why some men seem to have sexual energy that never runs out? They wake up feeling good, maintain firm erections, and, even after an intense night, still carry that spark of vitality. It is not luck or privileged genetics. It is awareness, an ancient secret that has to do with how a man manages his own energy. Most people believe male vigor depends only on hormones or age, but the truth is that the body is like a battery. Every erection, every orgasm, every moment of pleasure use is part of that charge. The problem is that almost no one learns how to recharge this energy. Many men burn it all on excessive masturbation, stress, and poor sleep, and then wonder why the penis no longer responds like it used to. Men with seemingly endless energy understand something few people notice: sexual energy is the foundation of vitality. When preserved, it turns into strength, focus, and confidence. When wasted, it drains everything, from erection firmness to mental clarity. They know the secret is not avoiding pleasure, but learning how to control it. Think of your body as a reservoir. If you open the tap all the time, it runs dry. But if you learn to close it, to hold, to use it consciously, the energy multiplies. And the penis reacts, it becomes better irrigated, more sensitive, more firm. That is the difference between the man who masters his own desire and the man who is dominated by it. Over the next few minutes, I will show you what these men do differently, and how anyone can begin to awaken this natural energy, without medication, without miracles, and without shame. Make sure you are already subscribed to the channel, because what comes next will change the way you understand your potency. And tell me in the comments, do you feel that your sexual energy has decreased over time? Have you noticed that there are days when your body seems to pulse with energy and others when everything feels slower, even your desire? This difference has a simple and powerful cause: the level of your vital energy, the invisible fuel that feeds testosterone, circulation, and erection firmness. When that fuel is high, the penis responds with vigor, desire comes naturally, and the man feels in command. But when it runs out, silent symptoms appear: weak erections, constant fatigue, and lack of pleasure. And what is most interesting is that this energy is not lost only through sex. It leaks away in every moment of stress, in bad nights of sleep, and, especially, in masturbation without purpose. Men with seemingly endless energy have discovered something essential: sexual strength is not only in the body, but in how you conserve and distribute your own energy. They have learned not to waste the impulse, but to transform it. When the body understands that energy is being preserved, it responds with more testosterone, better circulation, and a naturally stronger sexual performance. It is like lighting a flame that never goes out. Blood flows better, the brain becomes more alert, and pleasure stops being an endpoint to become a continuous current of vitality. The more a man masters this balance, the more he feels the impact in everything: in sex, in his mood, in his focus, and even in his self-confidence. I am Emily Collins, a urologist, and I see this every day in my practice: men who thought they were aging, but were actually just leaking energy without noticing. When they learn to hold and redirect it, their virility returns as if it had been reignited. Have you noticed how many men start to lose erection firmness exactly when life becomes more stressful and pleasure turns into nothing more than an escape? This is the blind spot of modern masculinity, the constant waste of sexual energy. Most believe that masturbating frequently or releasing pleasure whenever they feel like it is harmless, but in practice, this habit is draining the foundation of male potency. The male body was made to generate energy and direct it, not to waste it all the time. Every ejaculation demands a huge load of nutrients, hormones, and physiological effort. When that becomes a pattern, the body begins to operate in economy mode: less testosterone, poorer circulation, and a slower erectile response. The penis loses firmness, desire decreases, and pleasure, which used to feel intense, becomes shallower and shallower. And it is not just physical. Excess digital stimulation, pornography, quick videos, mechanical pleasure is reprogramming the male brain. It starts to associate pleasure with speed and instant reward. The result? During real sex, the mind wanders, the body does not keep up, and the erection fails. This is how many men end up trapped in a cycle of frustration and low self-esteem, without realizing that the problem is not the body, but the misuse of their energy. Men with seemingly endless energy have understood that real pleasure is not in the release, but in the control. They turn impulse into fuel, not loss. They learn to breathe, to feel, to master their own rhythm. That is the difference between the man who merely reacts and the man who leads. Have you ever wondered why some men seem to never run out, even living intense routines full of training, work, and sex? These men have understood something most ignore. Sexual energy is a vital force that can be controlled and recycled, not only spent. High-performance men, athletes, leaders, monks, or simply those who know their own bodies, share one thing in common: they preserve energy instead of wasting it. They know every erection, every impulse is an opportunity to strengthen the body, not to weaken it. That is why they practice desire control through breathing, focus, and self-mastery. When the impulse arises, they do not suppress it, they redirect it. They breathe in deeply, contract the pelvic floor, feel the energy rise through the abdomen and spread through the body. Blood keeps flowing, the penis remains firm, but the mind is in command. This simple practice keeps the nervous system balanced and prevents the exhaustion many men feel after sex. It is as if they turned desire into fuel. The more control, the more strength. The more strength, the more vitality. And this is not mysticism, it is biology applied with awareness. The body understands that energy is being preserved and responds by increasing testosterone levels, expanding circulation, and strengthening the erection. That is the real difference between the man who ages quickly and the one who stays vigorous for decades. One learns to direct pleasure, the other wastes it. One keeps control, the other loses it. Now that you understand the power of preserving energy, it is time to learn how to apply it in real life. And the good news is that you do not need much time or equipment, only awareness and discipline. Everything starts with breathing. When you feel desire, do not rush to release it. Breathe in deeply through your nose, hold for a few seconds and exhale slowly through your mouth. As you do this, imagine the energy rising from your lower abdomen to your chest and head. This conscious breathing is the first step in redirecting the flow and staying in control. The second point is training the pelvic floor, the foundation of erection. Contract the muscles you would use to stop the flow of urine, hold for 3 seconds and relax. Repeat several times a day. This simple exercise strengthens the muscles that support the penis and increases endurance during sex. And the third step is mental self-mastery. Learn to observe desire without acting on it immediately. When the impulse arises, feel it, but stay in control. This trains the brain to understand that pleasure does not need to end in release. Over time, the body adapts, erections become firmer and sexual energy begins to build up, not as tension, but as a calm and powerful force. Men who practice this daily report profound changes, longer-lasting erections, more intense orgasms, and steady energy throughout the day. The penis responds with more vigor, and the mind gains clarity and focus. This is the difference between simply reacting and taking command of your own potency. Have you noticed how, when your body and mind are in harmony, everything flows better, including sex? When a man starts applying this energy preservation technique, it is not just the penis that responds, the brain, mood, and self-esteem also transform. In the first few days, the change is subtle. Waking with more energy, feeling the penis firmer, noticing that desire returns naturally. Over time, this accumulated energy starts to fuel the whole body. Blood circulates better, testosterone levels stabilize, and the body becomes more responsive. The man feels his power again, not an aggressive power, but a silent, steady potency. But the deepest impact happens in the mind. By mastering the impulse, a man frees himself from the anxiety and guilt that often come with sex. He stops seeing pleasure as something quick and fleeting and starts experiencing it as a force that strengthens him. Concentration improves, focus expands, and even his gaze changes. In my experience as a urologist, I have seen men who, after years of insecurity and erectile dysfunction, recovered firmness and confidence simply by learning to manage their own energy. No medication can replace the power of a body working in favor of the mind, and a mind that respects the body. This technique turns sex into something deeper, not just a physical exchange, but an experience of total presence. It is when pleasure stops being an escape and becomes connection. Have you ever imagined living with such a high level of energy that fatigue no longer limits you, in sex, at work, and in life? That is the natural destination of the man who learns to master his own body. Endless energy does not come from pills or miracle formulas. It is born from the balance between pleasure, discipline, and awareness. When you control sexual energy, the body stops operating in highs and lows. The penis stays firm, desire becomes steady, and the mind remains alert. Erection stops being a challenge and returns to being a natural reflection of vitality. Every breath, every movement, every thought aligns with a state of presence. That is when a man realizes he did not lose his vigor, he had only been wasting it. Over time, this practice becomes a lifestyle. The man who preserves his energy walks differently, speaks differently, and even attracts differently. He does not need to prove anything, because his body already transmits strength. That confidence shows up in his relationships, his performance, and the way he views his own pleasure. And that is when everything changes. The energy that used to be lost in seconds now expands into vitality, clarity, and prolonged pleasure. The man becomes the owner of himself, and the penis, as a symbol of this potency, responds with the same intensity. The secret is not to live without desire. It is to live with desire under control. And that is true masculine freedom. If you have made it this far, make sure you are already subscribed to the channel. Leave your like, comment on what caught your attention the most, and share this video with other men who need to regain their strength. And in the next video, I am going to show you how to combine simple exercises and breathing to further increase erection rigidity and keep your performance high, even as the years go by. I will see you there.